My friends, success is not an accident. It is the result of discipline, clarity, and mastery over the forces within you. If you are unable to govern yourself, the world will govern you. To rise above average living, you must learn to control four great powers: your mouth, your mind, your mood, and your money. Let me share with you 13 principles that, if practiced daily, will transform the course of your life. The words you speak hold the power to create worlds or to shatter them. Every sentence you release is like a seed planted in the hearts and minds of those around you, and those seeds grow into either trust or resentment, encouragement or discouragement, love or division. The wise person understands that words once spoken can never be taken back, and therefore chooses each one with care. There is strength in restraint, for silence can often speak louder than an army of careless words. When you discipline your mouth to speak only when it adds value, you protect your reputation, your relationships, and your opportune life. There are countless times when people lose more through a single reckless sentence than through years of financial mistakes. A business deal can collapse, a friendship can end, or a door to success can close simply because someone could not control their tongue. Yet when you make your words instruments of inspiration, encouragement, and respect, people lean toward you, trust you, and want to follow your vision. The greatest leaders were not those who shouted the loudest, but those who spoke with clarity, wisdom, and conviction. Controlling your mouth is not only about avoiding harmful speech, it is also about learning the art of timing. Knowing when to remain silent, when to ask questions, and when to deliver truth makes your words 10 times more effective. A person who speaks less but with substance is valued far more than one who never stops talking yet says nothing worth remembering. Every word should be tested against this question: does it uplift, guide, or strengthen? If not, it is better left unspoken. There is also a deeper truth. The mouth reveals the condition of the mind. Careless words are born from careless thoughts. By filling your mind with wisdom, patience, and purpose, your speech will naturally reflect those qualities. If your inner dialogue is disciplined and positive, your outward dialogue will mirror that same discipline. Thus, controlling your mouth begins with controlling your thoughts. The more you train your mind, the easier it becomes to choose words that align with the person you want to be. Equally important is learning to measure the impact of your tone and delivery. Even good words spoken with arrogance or anger can lose their power, while difficult truth spoken with calmness and respect can change lives. The manner in which you communicate is as vital as the words themselves. When your words are wrapped in calmness, sincerity, and confidence, they pierce through resistance and touch the heart of the listener. In the end, the mastery of your mouth is mastery over influence. Those who speak without control scatter their influence like dust in the wind, but those who speak with discipline concentrate their influence like a powerful stream that shapes mountains. By choosing your words wisely, you position yourself as someone who can be trusted, respected, and remembered. Your speech becomes a tool for leadership, connection, and transformation, and when you master it, you open doors that no amount of force could ever unlock. Life is filled with countless moments that tempt us to defend ourselves, prove a point, or argue for the sake of being right. Yet true wisdom lies not in conquering every disagreement, but in discerning which battles are worthy of your time and energy. To engage in every small quarrel is to exhaust yourself in trivialities, leaving little strength for the great challenges that actually shape your destiny. The ability to walk away from unnecessary conflict is not weakness, it is a demonstration of self-control and vision. For it shows you value peace and progress more than the fleeting satisfaction of winning an argument. Many people lose sight of their goals because they are caught in the trap of proving themselves right to others. They spend hours, even years, fighting over words or actions that, in the grand scheme of life, mean nothing. Their energy, which could have been invested in growth, creation, or building meaningful relationships, is wasted on quarrels that only feed the ego. The wise person understands that being right is far less important than being effective, and that silence can often disarm conflict more powerfully than a sharp response. When you learn to let go of petty disputes, you create space for peace of mind. Your heart becomes lighter, and your focus becomes sharper. Instead of carrying the burden of grudges and resentments, you carry clarity and strength. By refusing to entertain arguments that do not matter, you protect your inner world from unnecessary turbulence. This emotional stability allows you to think more clearly and make decisions that align with your greater purpose. There will always be people who provoke, criticize, or misunderstand you, but not every comment deserves your reply. The need to respond to every slight is a chain that keeps many bound to negativity. True freedom comes when you no longer feel the urge to fight every small battle. By choosing your responses with wisdom, you not only maintain your dignity, but also send a silent message that your energy is too valuable to be wasted on what does not build you. At times, walking away may even feel like a loss, but in reality, it is a gain. You preserve your peace, your focus, and your time. You rise above the noise instead of becoming entangled in it. This act of restraint does not go unnoticed by others. It earns you respect, for people soon realize you are not easily shaken by trivial matters. Your calmness becomes your strength, and your refusal to be dragged into every quarrel sets you apart as a person of depth and control. Ultimately, life is not measured by how many arguments you win, but by how much progress you make. Each day, you must decide whether to fight or to let go, whether to defend yourself or to move forward. The person who understands that not every battle deserves attention becomes a master of energy and focus. And with that mastery, they rise above distraction and place themselves on the path of true achievement and lasting peace. What you allow to take root in your mind eventually becomes the story of your life. Every thought repeated again and again carves pathways in your brain, shaping how you see yourself, how you respond to challenges, and how you interpret the world around you. If your mind is filled with defeat, doubt, and fear, you will unconsciously move in the direction of failure. But if your mind is saturated with strength, vision, and determination, then your actions will align with victory. Just as a farmer carefully selects the seeds he plants, you must carefully choose the thoughts you allow to stay, for they will grow into the harvest of your reality. The mind, like a muscle, becomes stronger only when trained. Too many people allow their thoughts to wander without discipline, drifting aimlessly from one distraction to another, and then wonder why their lives lack direction. Training your mind means developing the habit of focus, persistence, and clarity. It means refusing to dwell on what weakens you and deliberately feeding yourself with thoughts that build you. Just as an athlete trains daily for mastery in their sport, you must train daily for mastery in thinking, because your thoughts determine every decision, every response, and ultimately every result you achieve. The influences you allow into your mind shape its strength. Books, conversations, media, and the people around you are either nourishing your growth or poisoning it. Expose yourself to knowledge that expands your vision, ideas that sharpen your creativity, and voices that inspire resilience. Protect your mental environment as you would protect a valuable garden. You cannot expect to produce fruits of success if you constantly plant weeds of negativity, gossip, and fear. Be intentional about what you read, who you listen to, and where you place your attention, because those choices slowly build the architecture of your future. It is not enough to simply think positive thoughts. You must also direct them toward a definite purpose. A focused mind is like a laser. It cuts through confusion and finds solutions where others see only obstacles. When you teach your mind to hold firmly to a vision, to dwell on possibility instead of impossibility, you harness an unstoppable force. The wandering mind achieves little, but the disciplined mind moves mountains. Each time you bring your attention back to your purpose, you strengthen your ability to achieve it. Training your mind also requires persistence in the face of setbacks. Life will test your ability to stay centered, and distractions will tempt you to give up. But every challenge is an opportunity to prove the strength of your thoughts. Instead of allowing obstacles to dictate defeat, choose to see them as teachers sharpening your character. Each time you rise above discouragement, your mind becomes stronger, more resilient, and more capable of leading you to success. Ultimately, your life is nothing more than the outward reflection of your inward thoughts. If you want to change what is happening outside, you must first change what is happening inside. Thoughts of strength create a life of strength. Thoughts of abundance create a life of opportunity. Thoughts of courage create a life of victories. When you train your mind with discipline and fill it with ideas that lift you higher, you give yourself the greatest advantage of all, the ability to create the life you were meant to live. A mind without direction is like a ship without a compass, drifting wherever the wind and waves decide to carry it. Such a mind can never build lasting success because it is constantly being pulled from one distraction to the next. If you want to achieve anything of worth, you must fix your thoughts upon a definite purpose and refuse to let them wander. The moment you set your mind on a clear destination, your energy, decisions, and habits begin to align with that vision. Without that focus, life becomes a cycle of wasted effort, but with it, every action becomes a step closer to fulfillment. When your mind is anchored to a specific goal, you begin to see opportunities that were invisible before. What others overlook, you notice, because your attention is sharpened like a lens. The world does not suddenly change, your perception does. This is why people who know what they want often appear lucky. They are not stumbling into success, but consciously moving toward it. Their focused mind attracts solutions and connections because they are already prepared to recognize them. Distraction is one of the greatest thieves of destiny. In today's world, countless voices call for your attention, pulling you in different directions, making you busy but not productive. To conquer distraction, you must discipline your mind to return again and again to your chosen purpose. Even when interruptions arise, even when challenges appear, you train yourself to re-center on your vision. This habit of bringing your mind back to what matters most separates achievers from dreamers. The power of a focused mind is also found in persistence. When you face setbacks, a wandering mind will search for escape, but a focused mind will search for solutions. The difference between giving up and pushing forward lies in where your thoughts are fixed. If you continually remind yourself of your goal and why it matters, no obstacle can fully defeat you. The mind that refuses to let go of its vision will always find a way forward, even if the path must be carved through difficulty. Every great achievement in history began with a mind that was fixed on a definite idea. The invention of new technologies, the building of empires, the creation of wealth, all started because someone decided to hold one thought firmly and act on it until it became reality. The world rewards those who know what they want and pursue it with unwavering focus. You cannot expect life to hand you greatness if your attention is scattered. You must claim greatness by refusing to let your mind drift aimlessly. In the end, your life will always follow the direction of your dominant thoughts. If your mind is fixed on problems, you will live in problems. If it is fixed on possibilities, you will live in possibilities. If it is fixed on fear, you will be ruled by fear. But if it is fixed on faith and purpose, you will rise to heights few ever reach. Decide where your mind will dwell, hold it there with discipline, and your life will be drawn toward that vision with irresistible force. Emotions are powerful forces that can either carry you forward or pull you backward. Anger, jealousy, and fear are natural feelings, but when left uncontrolled, they rob you of clarity and peace. A person who reacts without thought becomes a prisoner of circumstance, tossed back and forth by whatever situation arises. But the one who learns to pause, to breathe, and to let reason lead the way transforms every emotional storm into an opportunity for growth. Mastery over emotion does not mean you never feel deeply. It means you refuse to let feelings dictate your destiny. When anger arises, it often clouds judgment and pushes people to say or do things they later regret. The pause between impulse and action is where true power lies. If you can step back for even a few moments, you allow your mind to take control of your mouth and your actions. This habit of restraint not only prevents unnecessary damage, but also earns you respect. People trust those who remain calm under pressure because it shows strength and reliability. Jealousy is another storm that can quietly consume you if left unchecked. It blinds you to your own blessings and tempts you to measure your worth against others. Yet, when you master jealousy, you shift your focus from comparison to creation. Instead of resenting what someone else has, you begin to channel that energy into building your own success. By doing so, you turn a destructive emotion into fuel for progress. Fear, perhaps the most common storm of all, has stopped more dreams than failure ever has. Fear magnifies obstacles and whispers that you are not capable. But fear only has the power you give it. The moment you face it with courage and reason, its grip begins to weaken. Each time you act despite fear, you reclaim more control over your life and expand the limits of what you believe is possible. Ultimately, the person who can master these storms, anger, jealousy, and fear, steps into freedom. They no longer live as slaves to emotion, but as leaders of their own destiny. They choose responses that align with their values rather than impulses that sabotage them. Such mastery does not happen overnight. It is built moment by moment, decision by decision. But with each act of control, you gain strength, peace, and the ability to shape your future regardless of what storms may come. Every day when you wake up, you are presented with a choice that is more powerful than many realize. The choice of your mood. Just as you decide what clothes to wear before stepping out into the world, you can also decide what inner atmosphere you will carry with you. If you leave your mood to chance, it will be shaped by whatever happens around you, but if you take control of it, you can shape the day itself. A calm and deliberate choice in the morning can become the anchor that steadies you through everything that comes your way. A positive mood is magnetic. People are drawn to those who carry themselves with confidence and gratitude because it makes them feel lighter in your presence. Opportunities often find their way to individuals who radiate optimism, not because life favors them more, but because their outlook allows them to recognize possibilities instead of problems. By choosing to carry a grateful and uplifting mood, you attract not only the right people, but also the right circumstances to move you closer to your goals. On the other hand, a negative mood creates barriers where none exist. When you let irritation, bitterness, or pessimism dominate you, even simple tasks feel heavy, and even willing allies may turn away. A foul mood blinds you to solutions that are within reach and repels those who might have been eager to help. It is not circumstances that hold you back as much as the atmosphere you choose to carry within yourself. By shifting your mood, you shift the way the world responds to you. Choosing your mood each day also strengthens self-mastery. It is a declaration that you will not be a victim of circumstances, but a creator of them. You cannot control everything that happens to you, but you can always control the spirit in which you respond. When you choose calmness in chaos, gratitude in scarcity, or joy in difficulty, you take power away from external forces and place it back in your own hands. This inner stability becomes your greatest weapon against the unpredictability of life. Your mood also determines the quality of your relationships. People remember less of what you say and more of how you made them feel. When you consistently bring warmth, patience, and positivity into interactions, you build connections that open doors and create trust. A chosen mood of kindness and gratitude strengthens bonds, while an unchecked mood of anger or frustration weakens them. Relationships, both personal and professional, thrive on the atmosphere you bring into them. Ultimately, the ability to choose your mood daily is a discipline that leads to freedom. Instead of living as a reaction to everything outside of you, you begin to live as a conscious architect of your inner world. And when the inner world is ordered, the outer world gradually falls into alignment. By deciding each day to put on the mood that serves you best, calmness, positivity, and gratitude, you create a life where opportunities flow more easily, people respond more favorably, and peace remains with you no matter the storm. Life is full of seasons that will challenge you, moments when circumstances seem heavy and unfair. It is easy in those times to believe that your mood must bend to whatever the situation dictates. Yet the truth is, while you cannot always control what happens to you, you can always control how you choose to feel and respond. Circumstances are temporary, but the state of your spirit is permanent if you guard it carefully. Choosing patience, courage, and faith in the middle of difficulty gives you strength that no external situation can take away. When storms arise, many people surrender their mood to fear, anger, or hopelessness, allowing their environment to decide their inner world. But the one who detaches mood from circumstances stands firm, refusing to let hardship dictate their peace. This does not mean ignoring pain or pretending challenges are not real. It means acknowledging the struggle while choosing not to be ruled by it. You recognize that the storm is outside of you, not within you, unless you allow it in. There is power in the simple act of choosing your response. Patience when things delay protects you from rash decisions that could make the situation worse. Courage in the face of fear opens doors that timidity would have kept closed. Faith, even when the outcome is uncertain, allows you to move forward with strength while others remain paralyzed. These choices transform hardship into opportunity because your response becomes stronger than your circumstance. Detaching your mood from circumstances also preserves your energy. When you let every setback dictate your emotions, you live in constant exhaustion, drained by forces you cannot control. But when you decide to hold your peace regardless of the storm, you conserve strength for solutions instead of wasting it on reactions. This is how great leaders endure. By mastering their inner atmosphere, they outlast the turmoil that weakens others. People around you will notice the difference when you live this way. In the middle of pressure, your calmness becomes a light for those who are panicking. In times of doubt, your courage inspires confidence. When others complain or lose hope, your steady faith makes them believe that victory is still possible. By detaching your mood from circumstances, you not only strengthen yourself, you influence and uplift everyone connected to you. In the end, life will always test you with situations beyond your control. But the true test is not in the event, it is in your response. If you can remain steady and patient, stand tall in courage, and hold fast in faith, then no circumstance can ever truly defeat you. You become unshakable because your mood is no longer at the mercy of the world outside, but governed by the strength you carry within. Money is one of the greatest tools in life, yet it has trapped many because they misunderstood its role. It was never meant to be your master, dictating every decision and controlling your peace. It was designed to be your servant, working for you, multiplying for you, and opening doors of freedom when handled wisely. The tragedy is that so many people reverse this order, allowing money to command them, and in doing so, they become enslaved by debt, greed, or endless desire. True mastery comes when you place money in its rightful position as a tool, not a ruler. When you respect the value of money, you begin to treat every dollar as a seed. Careless spending is like scattering seed on rocky ground. It produces nothing and disappears quickly. But wise spending and intentional saving are like planting in fertile soil, where small amounts grow over time into great returns. Every choice you make with money either builds a future of abundance or creates a future of struggle. Respect means before spending, you weigh the cost against the long-term benefit, and you choose growth over waste. The person who wastes money carelessly often discovers that money abandons them in their time of greatest need. It slips through their hands like water, leaving them empty when opportunities arise. On the other hand, those who manage it with care always seem to have resources when it matters most. This is not luck, but the reward of discipline. Money, like a loyal servant, will always serve the one who treats it with order, patience, and purpose. Another sign affecting money is understanding its power to multiply. When you simply let it sit idle, it loses value over time. But when you put it to work, investing in skills, opportunities, or ventures that create returns, it grows. Respect for money is not about hoarding it in fear, but directing it with wisdom. Just as a farmer does not hold seed in his hand forever, but plants it where it will produce, you must put money where it can expand and serve your future. At the same time, respect for money requires resisting the trap of letting it define your worth. Many chase money so fiercely that they lose peace, health, and relationships along the way. But money cannot replace purpose, love, or integrity. When it becomes your master, you will always feel empty, no matter how much you have. But when it is your servant, it becomes a means to build, to give, and to live with freedom. Ultimately, money reveals the character of the one who holds it. In careless hands, it disappears. In fearful hands, it stagnates. But in wise and disciplined hands, it multiplies and brings freedom. Treat money as the servant it was designed to be, and it will work tirelessly for you. Let it become your master, and you will forever chase what you can never truly catch. The choice of who serves who is always yours. The principle "doing less than you earn" may sound simple, yet it is the foundation upon which all lasting wealth is built. No matter how much income you generate, if your expenses continually outrun it, you will live in a cycle of stress and scarcity. It is not the size of your paycheck that determines your financial stability, but the discipline with which you handle it. By ensuring that your outflow never exceeds your inflow, you create room for growth, security, and eventually freedom. Many people chase higher incomes believing that more money will solve their problems, but without discipline, even abundance slips away. History is filled with examples of those who earned fortunes only to lose them quickly because they never learned to manage what they had. The habit of overspending creates dependency on debt, which silently robs you of tomorrow's opportunities. True financial strength is not about how much you make, but how much you keep and how wisely you use it. Spending less than you earn requires intentional decisions each day. It means distinguishing between needs and wants, between what adds value and what merely provides temporary satisfaction. By practicing restraint, you free yourself from the trap of impulsive living. Every time you choose to delay gratification, you are laying bricks in the foundation of a stable financial future. Those small daily choices eventually accumulate into reserves that give you peace of mind and the ability to seize opportunities when they arise. Living beneath your means also gives you control over your life. When your expenses are too high, you become a slave to circumstances, constantly working only to keep up with your bills. But when you create space between what you earn and what you spend, you gain breathing room. That gap becomes your power. It funds your savings, investments, and dreams. It allows you to say yes to opportunities and no to exploitation because you are no longer bound by desperation. This principle is also a test of discipline and foresight. It demands that you think not only about today, but also about the future you are building. The resources you save today become the foundation of tomorrow's security. Each time you choose to live within your means, you are quietly declaring that your future matters more than a fleeting moment of indulgence. That kind of vision sets apart those who struggle endlessly from those who rise steadily. In the end, wealth is not built in a day, but in a lifetime of disciplined habits. Spending less than you earn is the habit that allows all others saving, investing, and giving to take root. Without it, no financial strategy can succeed. With it, even modest income can grow into stability and freedom. Discipline may feel like sacrifice in the moment, but it is in truth the greatest gift you can give yourself. for it unlocks the door to independence, security, and a future you control. Idle money sitting in your hands or your account does little for you. Over time, its value weakens, eroded by inflation and missed opportunities. But when you direct money with intention, it begins to work on your behalf, multiplying quietly in the background. This is the difference between those who remain in constant struggle and those who achieve financial independence. One spends money until it disappears, while the other plants it until it grows. Respect for money is not only in saving it, but in positioning it to create more. The most powerful way to make money work for you is through investment. This does not only mean financial markets or real estate, it begins with investing in yourself. The skills you develop, the knowledge you acquire, and the character you strengthen are forms of wealth that no one can take away. When you invest in becoming more valuable, opportunities naturally flow toward you, and the money you earn multiplies through the doors that education, discipline, and growth open. Opportunities also exist outside of yourself, in ventures and ideas that generate returns over time. Whether it is starting a business, acquiring assets, or supporting endeavors that produce profit, putting money into motion allows it to create more. Every dollar you invest wisely is like a worker you send into the world, and those workers bring back more resources to you. Over years, this discipline transforms even small beginnings into significant wealth. Making money work also requires patience. Many fail because they demand immediate results and pull their resources out before they mature. Growth, whether in personal development or financial investment, often takes time. Just as a farmer does not plant seeds and expect a harvest overnight, you must be willing to wait, nurture, and trust the process. This patience is what separates those who merely save from those who build enduring prosperity. Fear often keeps people from putting their money to work. They cling to it, afraid of loss, and in doing so they guarantee that it never multiplies. While wisdom and caution are necessary, excessive fear ensures stagnation. Risk cannot be avoided entirely, but with research, strategy, and consistency it can be managed. The courage to let money move, combined with the wisdom to direct it properly, is what leads to financial growth and freedom. Ultimately, money was not designed to sit idle. It was designed to move, to circulate, and to create. When you put it into places that yield returns, whether through your own growth or external opportunities, it becomes a servant that works tirelessly for you. The sooner you learn to make money active rather than passive, the sooner you begin to experience the power of true wealth building. What you plant wisely today will return to you tomorrow in multiplied form, securing not only your future, but also the legacy you leave behind. Many people mistakenly believe that poverty is only the result of insufficient income, but in truth, countless lives remain trapped in struggle because of uncontrolled desires. A steady flow of money can be rendered useless if it is constantly consumed by impulse. Every time a person spends without thought, chasing temporary pleasures, they trade their future stability for a momentary thrill. Restraint, though often uncomfortable, is the quiet builder of wealth and peace. Without it, no amount of income will ever be enough, for unchecked desire will always outpace earnings. Impulse spending often disguises itself as reward, comfort, or even necessity. People convince themselves they deserve something now, ignoring the long-term consequences. A single purchase may feel harmless, but repeated over weeks and months, it drains resources that could have built savings, investments, or opportunities. The undisciplined spender becomes trapped in a cycle of working harder only to remain in the same place, constantly filling immediate wants while sacrificing lasting growth. Restraint does not mean deprivation, it means control. It is the wisdom to recognize that not every desire deserves fulfillment, especially not immediately. When you learn to pause before purchasing, to ask whether this decision strengthens or weakens your future, you shift from being controlled by desire to being guided by vision. This habit, practiced consistently, creates a gap between income and expenses, and within that gap lies the foundation of freedom. Another danger of uncontrolled desire is that it fuels comparison. Many people spend recklessly not because they truly need or even want something, but because they are competing with others. They buy to impress, to fit in, or to mask insecurity. Yet this pursuit of appearances often leads to emptiness inside and debt outside. True stability comes when you no longer allow the opinions of others to dictate your spending, but instead let your own values and goals determine how money is used. The discipline to control desire also strengthens character. Each time you resist impulse, you exercise the muscle of self-mastery. Over time, this disciplines into other areas of life, your health, your relationships, and your work. You begin to make decisions not from emotion but from principle, and this shift in mindset creates a life built on purpose rather than whim. The small act of saying no today becomes the great reward of freedom tomorrow. Ultimately, those who learn to master their desires rise above the endless chase for more. They understand that lasting happiness does not come from possessions but from peace, security, and progress toward meaningful goals. By refusing to let impulsive spending destroy stability, they preserve their energy, protect their future, and build a foundation upon which wealth can grow. Control over desire is not a punishment. It is the pathway to independence, success, and the kind of freedom that money alone can never buy. The people you allow into your life have a direct impact on the way you think, speak, feel, and act. No one is immune to influence, and over time, the habits of those around you will shape your own without you even realizing it. If your company is careless with their words, reckless with their decisions, or negative in their outlook, that energy will slowly seep into your behavior. Just as a drop of dye changes the color of clear water, the presence of undisciplined people changes the atmosphere of your life. When you surround yourself with those who lack control over their mouth, you will eventually find yourself speaking as they do. Gossip, complaints, and negativity are contagious, and they weaken your character just as surely as they weaken relationships. Likewise, if you spend time with people who neglect their mind, who never seek growth or knowledge, you may find your own ambition diminishing. Influence is subtle but powerful. It shapes your standards by either lifting them higher or pulling them lower. Choosing disciplined company is an act of wisdom and protection. When you walk with people who guard their words, train their minds, and carry a positive spirit, you are reminded to do the same. Their habits reinforce your own discipline, and their example strengthens your resolve. Instead of draining you, they challenge you to rise. You begin to mirror their confidence, their patience, and their drive, just as they mirror yours. In such company, growth feels natural and discipline becomes the norm. The company you keep also influences your relationship with money. Spend time with those who are reckless, and you will feel pressure to spend as they do, often in wasteful ways. But surround yourself with those who respect money, who save, invest, and manage it wisely, and you will naturally adopt those habits. Their financial discipline will sharpen your own and remind you that stability and freedom are more rewarding than temporary indulgence. This is why you must choose your relationships with the same care that you choose your path in life. Not every person deserves a seat at your table, because not every person adds to your growth. It is better to walk alone for a season than to walk with those who pull you away from your vision. True companionship is not measured by numbers, but by quality. A small circle of disciplined, purposeful people is far more valuable than a large circle of careless ones. Ultimately, your environment either feeds your progress or fuels your downfall. You cannot rise to your highest potential while keeping company with those who drag you down. But when you surround yourself with disciplined people, those who respect their mouth, mind, mood, and money, you position yourself for success. Their influence will shape your habits, their example will sharpen your focus, and their energy will remind you daily that discipline is not a burden, but a pathway to greatness. When you learn to discipline your words, you quickly discover that respect follows. People listen more attentively to those who speak with intention rather than those who speak without thought. Every phrase you release shapes the way others see you, and when your speech is measured, uplifting, and purposeful, you establish yourself as someone worthy of trust. Respect cannot be demanded. It is earned through the consistency of your actions and the quality of your words. The person who controls their mouth becomes a person of influence because their voice carries weight and credibility. Controlling your mind brings an entirely different kind of power, the power of direction. A scattered mind leads to scattered results, but a focused mind carves a straight path toward achievement. When your thoughts are aligned with your goals, your decisions become sharper and your actions more effective. Instead of wasting energy on distractions or doubts, you direct it toward building the life you envision. The disciplined mind becomes like a compass, pointing you unfailingly toward your destination, no matter how turbulent the journey. Peace is found in the mastery of your mood. Circumstances will always shift, challenges will always come, but the ability to regulate your inner world gives you control over how you experience life. Those who are ruled by their moods often live in chaos, but those who have mastered their emotions remain steady. They do not allow anger, jealousy, or fear to dictate their path. Instead, they choose calmness, gratitude, and confidence, and in doing so, they create an atmosphere of peace that no storm can easily shake. Independence comes through control of money. When you manage your resources with wisdom, spending less than you earn, investing with patience, and resisting impulse, you free yourself from the chains of financial stress. Money becomes a servant rather than a master, giving you choices rather than taking them away. The person who governs their money, well, does not live in fear of tomorrow, but moves boldly toward the future, knowing they have built a strong foundation. Independence is not about wealth alone. It is about the freedom that wise stewardship brings. When these four powers, words, mind, mood, and money, are mastered, they form a complete framework for greatness. Each one strengthens the others. Your disciplined words reflect your disciplined mind. Your balanced mood enhances your relationships, and your financial wisdom supports your freedom to pursue purpose. Together, they create a life of influence, direction, peace, and stability. Without them, progress is unstable, but with them, success becomes not only possible, but inevitable. The highest form of achievement is self-mastery. External victories may bring recognition, but they are fleeting without inner discipline. Mastery over your words earns you respect. Mastery over your mind provides you with purpose. Mastery over your mood grants you peace, and mastery over your money secures your independence. These are the pillars upon which true greatness stands. And when you rise upon these pillars, you do not just build success for yourself. You create a legacy that inspires and strengthens everyone who comes after you. So I say to you, take command of yourself. Speak with intention, think with clarity, feel with balance, spend with wisdom. The world belongs to those who have mastered themselves. And when you master these four powers, you will not only shape your future, you will shape the future of everyone who comes after you.